coming, everyone. Thanks, Leonard, for ad-libbing stuff. And I'll read my piece, which is called Silver. Helen knew she was going to have a crappy hangover, but she could care less. She was an empowered, independent woman who just fucked Mike, her stepbrother. Suddenly, something felt up her throat. She ran toward the trash can near her desk. An absurd amount of Chardonnay and Jameson erupted from her mouth, splashing into the trash can. Several minutes later, Helen coughed up the remaining remnants of alcohol. The can was nearly full. She wiped her face with her hands. She then noticed her engagement ring. The band was silver, and attached to it was an oval diamond. It had an enchanting glow underneath fluorescent lights. It was beautiful. Her fiancé Todd had a great eye, or rather, her ex-fiancé. She sighed and then looked at Mike, who was snoring and lying in her bed, while the bed she always slept in whenever she visited her mom. She smiled, reflecting back to what had happened earlier. Earlier that evening, in that very room, Helen was fiercely drinking a bottle of Chardonnay to herself. Her mom's comments from Christmas dinner still lingered in Helen's thoughts. Especially with comments like, "How is he gay? You look like man. He doesn't look gay. See, you need to lose more weight," in that trademark Korean accent. Meanwhile, her stepdad, a white male who loved Fox News way too much, attempted at averting the situation with very interesting insights on how nice Bill O'Reilly's forehead had looked on his show. So, there Helen was, on that very bed, drinking her Chardonnay. Her bottle was getting empty. She noticed how even more intoxicated she was feeling. Suddenly, the door opened. "Go away," she groaned, assuming it was her mom, or worse, her stepdad. It was Mike, with another bottle of Chardonnay, and 2 wine glasses. "Thought you might need another," Mike said sheepishly. Helen immediately sat up, continuing to drink up the remaining drops of wine. Mike sat next to her. He poured himself a glass. He then raised an eyebrow at her, motioning her with the bottle and the empty glass. Without even responding, she grabbed both the bottle and cup and poured herself a drink. "So, is everything okay?" Mike said, watching Helen take big gulps. "Yeah," she exhaled. "I'm fine." Her glass was half empty. "Are you sure?" Mike asked again. "I mean, you broke off an engagement and all, and I don't mean to seem nosy, but why are you still wearing that ring?" Helen just shrugged. "Silver is my favorite color." Mike merely nodded. He then asked, "So, how did you find out that he told me back in September," Helen interrupted. "He woke me up one morning. He was in tears. He knew that he couldn't lie to me anymore and pretend that he loved me like that. He was crying because, well, we were always best friends, and he didn't want to lose that." Tears suddenly rolled down Helen's cheeks. She awkwardly laughed and wiped away her tears. "I'm sorry, I hate crying, but even though I will always love and support Todd, I can't help but feel, hurt. Todd was the only one I lost my virginity to." She then burst into loud sobs. "Hey, look, it's okay," Mike said, taking the glass from her hand and placing it on the floor. He held her in his arms. Her tears began dripping against his gray shirt. He stroked her hair and rubbed her back. Helen didn't know if it was the Chardonnay talking, but she actually liked being so close with Mike. She knew all she had to do was break away from his embrace, look him in the eyes, and thank him for being a cool stepbrother. Yet she liked listening to the low hum of his heartbeat as his slender hands caressed her back. Mike whispered against her ear, "I always had a thing for you." And then that was when Helen immediately broke away from his embrace. She smacked his shoulder. "Shut up, Mike. I actually have standards." Mike smirked. "Shit, relax. I'm just trying to cheer you up." Helen then picked up her glass and stood up. Her stance was getting a bit wobbly. "Well, whatever," said Helen. "Anyways, I have to pee. And when I get back, there better be more alcohol." And so once Helen returned from the bathroom, there was a bottle of Jameson waiting for her. Mike also had several Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shot glasses. A Michelangelo for him and a Raphael for Helen. As her throat burned after every shot of Jameson, she knew that she was more than a little drunk. She was really drunk now. Helen placed her shot glass on the floor and looked at Mike. "Am I ugly to you?" she asked. Mike only stared back in response. Helen laughed and continued asking, "Am I ugly to you? Because, well, did you know my mom wanted me to get plastic surgery since my eyes are too chinky?" "Whoa, that's messed up," Mike finally responded. "Your eyes are perfect, and hey, fuck what your mom thinks. There's nothing ugly about you at all." Helen snorted out another laugh and said, I don't believe you. You're just saying that because you're drunk and I'm drunk. Wait, why isn't there more whiskey in Raphael? Before she could even attempt in pouring herself another shot, Mike immediately grabbed her and kissed her. She could feel her nipples hardening again. But no, her one sober thought, I can't. She broke off the kiss, slapping his face. No, we can't. I mean, I'm drunk, but even I'm not stupid. You're not some guy I can have sex with. You're my stepbrother. Mike clasped her hands. He leaned closer and whispered, it's not like we're actually related. Helen shook her head. Still, I'm supposed to be like a sister to you. Mike then got much closer to her face. You know your mom and my dad might split up soon, so we might as well. Helen sighed. Just let me have a few more shots first. And after those shots, they finally fucked. What had happened was incredible. She liked having to yell at Mike every time she climaxed. The night escalated to pure ecstasy. The best she ever had, even if it was with her stepbrother. Helen glanced at the trash can. She knew that she had to clean it up immediately, especially because of the stench. Yet she was too tired and figured she'd have to deal with it tomorrow. She crawled back into bed, letting Mike's head rest against her breast. She stroked his shaggy blonde hair. She looked at her engagement ring. She admired that ring, but probably a little too much. Before falling asleep, she took off her engagement ring and tossed it to the floor. The silvery object rolled onto the carpet, landing right next to an empty bottle of Chardonnay. Thank you.